Good morning. Thanks for joining me for another video. I got Sundays and Mondays off, so it's my day off here on Monday, so I want to do some more videos. I did some reading last night on how to change formations, so we're going to fix that. But first, just want to thank you for checking out this video. This is we're playing Lobositz by Clash of Arms game. It's a learning game for me. Never played it. Never played any of the series. We are on the second turn, the 6:20 a.m. turn, and just kind of working our way through it. So please click on the channel if you'd like to see more of this. Click on the bell so you get notifications, and there's an Amazon affiliate link. If you want to buy anything on Amazon through that link, the channel gets credit for it. And I make, nickel here, dime there, dollar here, dollar there, and it helps support the channel. And there's also a link. I do own a game store. The website, we're working on it, but it is up. The old one's still up, so there is a link to the homepage if you want to also buy gaming stuff to support the store. So, but thanks for tuning in. So let's talk about this. So last night I did brought this cavalry on as a reinforcement, and kind of stumbled my way through on how to change formation. Well, the one thing I did wrong is you cannot change formation from a road column directly into a line. You have to change to a march column first, then to a line. And on top of that, I kind of overcomplicated it because I thought I had to bring everybody in on this road. So let's just grab all these guys, okay, because they're not going to be there. So when you move on the off map, if you've watched some of the other videos, there's an off map chart because we're not using, so the original game, the line would be right about here. I don't know if you can see the white arrow, but right about where the Lobositz church is, it goes basically straight across. This would be the original map. So this is the extended map. So and I don't know where you get the information to play with the extended map. So I'm playing like I'm playing the original game. So all of these guys, like these dudes here that are coming in on the road that came up this way, these guys here, they all come in at points based on, let's see if I can show you this real quick. You probably won't be able to see it because I don't want to take the time to blow up the little picture on the bottom, but there's this little off-map chart here, right? And basically you're moving off map. Well, there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, there's a amount of hexes you can come on to, and I wasn't thinking about it, but I can actually come on here, here, and the church. Okay? And trying to look to see, I don't know if the church counts as a village hex or not. I was playing it as a village hex. I think I would still do that. But the point is, they can come on right here. And I could have came on in line without all this dinking around with trying to go into column. But since I screwed that up, I do want to just show you how it works so you can learn. Okay, so let's say this guy is in a column, a road column. We'll just use the one guy. Okay, so he's in a road column. We're just going to do a little demo here, and then I'm going to bring all these guys in. These two hexes, they're just going to come from this area and out onto the field so they don't have to mess around. Maybe that's not a good, maybe I could get further up, but here's how it works. So again, there's some charts in here. They seem, to me, they're a little harder to follow. This doesn't give as much information. Once you know how to do it, that's a great resource. It's really fast. You can just look it up real quick. You don't have to grab your piece of paper. But when I was reading on here, the little charts that came with the game, they had a lot more information for me, and they referenced rules and how that works. And basically, the only way you can change from one to another directly is there's a little chart here, and I'll zoom this up here. This will be worth looking at, I guess. A little bit bigger anyway. There's a little chart right here, and they notice how the lines connect, right? So the only way you can directly go, like here's road column, okay? And the only way you can go to road road column is march column. You can't go from road to line. Okay, you got to go to march. So that's what I did wrong, and none of that was on the other deal I was looking at on here. So as a new player, that kind of confused me. I just thought I could change. So let's get that out of the way. So here this isn't gonna be my move. I'm gonna redo this activation. This was the last activation we did with Lobositz. And so we're just gonna redo that. It doesn't mess with our turn at all, so there's nothing to really redo as far as the whole turn. So we're just gonna fix that. But I do want to show you what I learned last night, because I think it was fairly detailed in the amount of steps you had to read through, but I thought it was pretty well laid out as far as once you know how to do it, it's really not that complicated. So let's say I'm coming in here on road column, and so my dude is right here, and I'm getting the half movement point moving through the village, right? Because normally if you're in anything but road column and move through a village, you're going to have to make a disorder check when you're done moving, which don't want to do that when I'm coming up in front of the enemy here, who's up here. The Prussians are up here on this hill, starting to come in on column, right? So we don't want to be dealing with that. All right, so you move half movement points. So this would have been, so this square that you start in counts. So this is a half, so 1. Then I could have moved here for 2, and this little column continues to follow you, right? So let's get them facing just right. And for sake of showing you the whole thing, I'm just going to pretend this column is longer, right? So it wouldn't be this long because he's only 6 strength points, but let's say he was a 9 strength point cavalry unit or something, right? So now he's a long cavalry. He's using 3 columns. And the reason that's important, let's see, that was 2 to get to there. I want to show you the stuff that I did wrong. So it's 3 to get here. All right. So let's see how this would shake out. Now, the reason this is interesting is because there's rules for when you try to form into a march column, and you have a zigzaggy line here, right? They're not all lined up nice, right? That doesn't work very well. And I didn't take that into account either. So the bottom line is, and I want to read through this really slowly because you want to do it right. And I only read through it last night, so it is, where was the rule? Come on now. 8.4, okay. Okay, so from road column to march column, there are 4 requirements from changing from road column to march column. The new march column must be formed in a straight line of hexes as per the march column diagram. So one of the things I was looking at that I was like, okay, well this is nice and clean, but my guys aren't all lined up like this, right? So you have to get your road column into this formation, right? So that's a big deal. That's going to cost extra movement points. The new march column must be formed in hexes already occupied by the road column, but the march column does not have to occupy all the road column's original hexes. So what they're saying is I have to occupy, and it didn't make a ton of sense to me because later on it just says that this column has to be here, so I can extend out to here, right? So I have to be in I have to start in these hexes is what it's telling me. The new march column head must be in the same hex as the original road column head. The new march column cannot be longer than the road column. An infantry march column length cannot be more than 2 hexes. A cavalry march column length cannot be more than 3 hexes. The march column length can be the same length or shorter than the road column. So then we get in. So I've moved 3, right? So we went 1, 2. We moved 3 of our 6. So here's the formation change movement point cost. The basic formation change cost from road column to march column is 1 movement point. For each hex difference, the road and march column with minimum with minimum of 1 movement point being expended. Because a road column formation is not restricted to being in a straight line of hexes, there is a special formation change cost for crooked road columns, which is what I'm trying to show you here. Changing from march column to road column that is not aligned with the march column's head, i.e. not in the same row. So they give an example, and basically the example they give is there's a 9 strength point unit. It occupies, it's basically, let's see here. So it costs 2 movement points instead of 1 for each one of those changes. So basically, this becomes my new head. I had to have 3 here. Let's say, remember, we're pretending this is a 9, so you'd have 4, 4, and 1, right? So basically, I have to form a new formation here. And this actually would be pretty expensive because this would be 2, 4, so I couldn't even do that. So here is my original formation. So my head would be here. I'd have to face this way, and then this guy would have to move here for 2. And then it also cost me 1, so I would end up in a march column, not a road column. And that would cost all my movement points. So what I was bumbling around here, you really can't just like come whipping out here and then fan out. Now, all that being said, I don't need to do all that, because on the reinforcement track it shows me that I can come in on this hex, and I can come in on this hex, and then these guys would basically just, these guys basically come in behind them. Oops, I'll get all this fixed here. So let's get all this fixed up. So what I want to do is I want to start out in line, because when I come on the board, I can come in any formation that I want. When I'm coming in the off map. Oop, oh, I hit the wrong shortcut. So my best bet would be to, so that's where they can come on at. So I can come on to this hex, and this hex, right? And we'll flip him over for sake of, and I think this guy came in with him as well, right? So these guys are coming on with these dudes here. So I could come on this hex, and this hex. I want to stay off of this one because I think this church one is part of the village, right? These are all village hexes, and if you move through them in anything other than on a road in march column, you have to make a disorder check when you're done, right? So I'm assuming this would be a village hex. If it wasn't, the only difference is I could put this guy here and I could be more fanned out, but that's not going to matter. So it would benefit me to just come in line instead of trying to bring everybody up this road and column, and then these complex maneuvers, which we'll go through those again. I was just trying to show you roughly that. So you can't go from road column into a line. You have to go into march. And then when I was on this zigzaggy road here, I'd have been better off stopping here, changing into a column for 1 movement point. Then I could have changed into but I'd have been back here basically. And we'll do that when it matters. I just wanted to give a rough overview of that since I did it wrong. So these guys are going to activate. They're coming on here. This first hex counts as a movement point. And now we're in line, right? So we're going to be in a line, and clear terrain in line is going to be a 1. Okay? And this is all clear terrain in front of us, so that's very beneficial. And I want to zoom out a little bit. Well, let's zoom in. I like being zoomed in a little bit more. So we want to kind of see where we're going to be meeting our Prussian counterparts. And remember, Austrians have to zigzag. They can't just oblique the whole time. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's redo this cavalry wings movement. So I'm going to go 1. Oh, this is 1. So 2, 3, 4. And I don't think I'm in a big hurry to push way out there. So I think I'm just going to go right there. And then let's grab this unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for sake of argument, the map here in the version we're playing only went like this, right? So this hex didn't even exist in the original game. So I'm going to move up this way because I'd have to do that. So this guy will go 1, 2, 3. This guy is going to go 1, 2, 3. All right. So my cav is coming out, and we'll be able to do some formation facing changes later if we need to. We'll wait and see what the Prussians do. Let's move our leaders back, right? I probably should have just left him there to make it easy, but I got to remember Brown has to be able to reach him as a wing commander. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right on the other side of that tree. So he's got plenty of movement to get there. So he'd move there. And then he's got 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to move this leader up to here. Okay, so now we can flip them, and that's where we're going to end up. Thought I forgot to start a log file. So I'll make sure I had everything recording. I like to do a log file with Vassal because then if you mess anything up, you can always back up if you want or whatever. So, okay, so that fixes Lucci's and Lokowitz's move. It's a lot easier to just come on in line than all the fancy pants stuff I was trying to do. And they are ready for battle. So when these guys flush out into line, or if for some reason they wouldn't have a problem. You don't have to make a check to do that. They would just have to activate, but they're not going to get to them. Although, okay, so this is the interesting thing is so infantry, you have to be right next to them to do a close combat. Cavalry, you have a charge range. So, I mean, theoretically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. So if I'd have moved them up one more, they could get a charge off on these guys and call them. Because Austrian cavalry can charge a distance of 3 hexes. So I'm assuming, I'll have to read on that if you got to go 1, 2, 3, or if you can be here and go 1, 2, 3, and you just have to be in the front. I think you have to be here and then attack the hex. So we'll see how that works. The Prussians can go 4. So the Prussians, depending on if they could get up to like here, roughly, they would be in striking range already. So we're getting close to our first possibility of a big cavalry clash. And that's exciting. So now let's go on to the next activation. I don't know how long I'll do on this one because I have a Walk Tim Ryan video that I wanted to get done today. But I wanted to fix that because it bugs me when there's something that wasn't done right and it's just sitting there. So I want to get that corrected and how that works with coming on the board. And I wasn't able to go from road to line. You have to go road to march, march to line. Okay, so activation roll. Prussians first. It's a 7 and a 1. So that's not going to move the marker down. And the Prussians obviously won that with a 7 because it's going to be a 12 to 5. So let's continue activating our cavalry, I think is what we're going to want to do. And get this cavalry down here swinging out, getting ready to fight. All right, so we got this SC guy. I like to try to look at their names. So Schwerin. So he's not a super. Is that him? No, that's this guy. Those are big cavalry units. They're gonna want to. These guys are gonna want to spread out, I think, because those are pretty big fellers. So I think we'll move Schwerin, and we're just going to be getting our cavalry ready for the big cavalry duel up just off of. This is Homolka Berg. Guessing that's the name of the hill. Either that or we could move this. Why are those? I think those guys are. That's a mistake. These guys are not supposed to be facing that way. I'm guessing I turned the leader and turned the whole stack, so that's not correct. I'm going to fix that. I wouldn't have those guys facing that way. So either move this guy here or move these guys just down this way and get them ready. Let's just move these guys down. So this guy, KA, what's his name? Katzler? Yeah, let's move him. So we're going to move Katzler. Okay, so we're going to leave Katzler there because I need to figure out my command ranges first. So basically, we get half movement unless we have to change formation. So 1, or change facing, I mean. 2, 3, 3.5. This would be 4, 5. And then we can move here for 6. So let's grab these guys. 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. And 5.5. And then this is, oh, we got 2 more here. We got these guys too. So 1, so cost us, oh, you know what? Did I do that wrong? Slopes, I think, are a 1. I always do that. Slopes, I think, are a 1. It's a +1. I was doing a half. What am I doing? Let's do that again. Sorry. Okay, these guys are here. So they would go 1, 2, face change this way because they were facing this way. So 3, 3.5, 4.5, 5, 6. I think I did him right. Right? Yeah. I think I did these guys wrong. So these guys would be facing south. So 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5 to change this way. 4, 5, 5.5, 6. Okay. I just did the one guy wrong. Okay. So this guy was originally facing this way, I think. He's facing that way, I think. Can't remember. Oh. Don't hit the wrong shortcut key. Let's put a bunch of auto command tokens on there. You can add those real quick, like. All right, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and they can't cross this here, so They're done. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I got kind of log jam there, but whatever. So we'll go 4.5. Well, we're fine. 5.5. And then let's figure out where we want to put that general. He's got a command range of 5. So with this road stuff, he'd be pretty golden if we put him in here. Could just put him here. I'm just trying to figure out, because these guys are all under Gessler, which is he's right here. He's got a 6, which isn't super duper good, but it's not. Yeah, we should be good. Let's just move him. He's got tons of movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's move him to there. And he is done. So I just realized I probably blundered a little bit there, because now these guys are going to get hemmed in by. They can move through him just fine. So we'll see if they activate, if they can swing around down here. So I got to remember my movement order. I also have the option to bring a little bit of cavalry on this northern side. Might consider that. But anyway, they're done. So we go back to the initiative roll. There we got a 15. So that's going to... got to remember where the charts are. That's going to move this down. Because remember, our end turn number is 9. And this time the Austrians will win, because it'll be 11 to 13. So the Austrians get to go next. So they've activated. We have all this stuff here that can do stuff. I think I'm just going to start bringing this cavalry up. The only thing I really have to do... Ooh, I got this cavalry here, though. It'd be kind of nice to start getting them up to help these dudes and these dudes. This is like getting ready to become a huge, massive cavalry battle over here if I don't outwit myself. You know, the Prussians oblique. You wouldn't think the free obliquing would be a big deal, but it'd be really nice just to be able to shift all of these guys this way. But they have to do this stuff. So then you have to make a facing change, which costs movement. It's just it's subtle little things. It's kind of cool, but it's like you wouldn't think that'd be a big deal, but it's a big deal. Well, I think we're going to activate. So these guys are under Radicati. These guys got the greatest names. So these guys are both under Radicati. We got this guy who's just an L. So that's Lowenstein, looks like. And we got O'Donnell. So I think we're going to continue moving these guys, because they're going to have to get to this. And if they move through this, they'd have to make a disorder check unless they stop in it. And I'm wondering if that was extra movement besides. Oh, that's 4 movement points. So that's going to cost them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'd have to stop on this side. The next turn, if I didn't want to make a disorder check, they'd have to spend 4 to move there and wait. And then they can come out of there the next turn. So that's going to take them. I don't have much of a choice, because by the time I start changing formation, getting into March, and then come across this road, I don't know if that's going to matter that much. So let's go ahead and just activate this command right here. Not a super big command, although they're stacked, so that's good. They'll be able to spread out, which is something I got to remember to do, is start spreading these guys out, because I don't know if I want them all bunched up. I don't know. Do I keep them all stacked on these big, massive cavalry battles, or is it beneficial to spread them out? I have no idea. Guess we'll find out by trial and error. So we're going to activate this guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He doesn't have enough movement points to go into there, so he's going to stop there. And then his other part of his command, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing. He's got 10 movement points, so he's golden. He's going to go up there, and we'll just flip him, and that's the end of that activation. So it does start getting faster and faster as you get more, little things that used to be a big deal and checking out. I didn't go through all the motions because I know he's got 10, right? So he'd go 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and then he had 10, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to him, right? So I should show you that, but he's in command. So, and he will be too, and we'll keep him in command. So let's go ahead and make another activation. And remember, when you do an activation, it's not just activate to move. You would do disorder recovery, but we don't have hardly any. The only disorder we have will be when we go up here, so we'll have to remember that. Then you'd have fire combat, well, they're cavalry, so they can't fire. Then you do movement, then close combat. Obviously, these guys way in the back are just movement. All right, so roll again. Ooh, another 10. We're not really tied because it's a 5 and a 5, and Frederick the Great is a 5, Brown is a 4, so it's 10-9. But that does move us down the chart, which is a bigger deal. And the Prussians get to activate. So I'm thinking maybe these guys are going to activate these independents and these independents, and we're going to move this little batch up into this area and cause some problems. Now I do have to remember, I think it's Gessler. When I move him up, he's going to have to be able to reach all of his commanders. So that's one thing to remember. Don't get too crazy. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to activate, I like to look at his name, Kate. So we're going to activate Kate here. And with Kate, so basically Frederick the Great is right here. We didn't do this for these guys, but I should do this just so we're not getting ahead of ourselves. But he can use this road to get to Gessler, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. And then he's got a range of 6, so 1, 2, 3. And then this guy has a range of 5, so 1, 2, 3, and then half, These guys are independent, so it'd be a half, 1, 2. So he's going to activate all of this. And that's just going to leave this cavalry unit to probably go south. We'll see. Maybe they'll whip around here too. Maybe I'll outthink myself and hose the Prussians. Not sure yet. So let's activate these guys. These guys are all in column. I'm thinking we might want to consider formation changing. Getting out of column. What are these? If these guys move 4. So in a column, they could go 1, 2. They could get basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically get up to about here. And these guys keep moving. They can only move 4. We'll probably fine. I think what we'll do is move up in column. We probably won't move all the movement, but we'll get moved way up there, and then we can shake out into line next turn right along this road here. This winery is just for looks, they said in the rules, so you don't have to worry about that as a town hex. But we'll shake out behind this road going from the winery to Machinitz, and I think we'll do that. So let's do that. So let's see how these infantry do. So they can stack that many, but we're going to start spreading out a little bit. So I'm going to move one at a time. So 1 or half. Let's go 1 here. 2, 3, 4. And then this guy is, well, these are all independent, so they don't have battalions per se to stack. So 1 to change facing, 2, 3, 4. This guy is going to go a half, 1.5, 2, 3, 4. And then this guy is going to go 1.5, 2.5, 3, 4. So that worked out pretty good. And then next time they can change formation in the line, and we'll be ready to start blazing. What do I want to do with this guard? I think we're going to kind of put them off the flank here. We can maybe fan out with them later. They only got 1 strength point, so they're probably really good to melee or charge in or something, but they got 1 strength point, so they seem pretty vulnerable to me. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's just go here. They're pretty vulnerable. I don't really want to lose those guys. And then we're going to activate, these are light cavalry, which is anything with a movement of 7 or more for cavalry is considered light in this scenario. So that's going to be something to consider. This stream doesn't affect anything. So let's go ahead and move these guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know if I want to move out more or not. No, because we got cavalry here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, they can't get in range, so I'm just going to move up to here. Another half. It's got to go 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5.5, 6. All right. And we're gonna bring these. I think these are dragoons. Hussars, I guess. We might just move them as a stack. Basically just going to skirt this. Maybe we'll whip around out here. So let's do that. Let's just move them as a stack. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess we'll just leave them there. No reason to get bonkers. And we'll move Kate here. So he's kind of controlling these independents right now, but they can be controlled by whoever. Oh, and then we should grab this so I don't forget. So mark these guys as finished. Mark these guys as finished. These are independents, so they don't. I don't know. These guys are with him, but these guys are independents. I don't like to put them on top. I don't mind the color and stuff, and it just reminds me they're done. Plus, remember in Vassal you have these little move things. I think we're just gonna put him. I think we're just gonna put him right here. He's got plenty of movement. He's got 10, so, and he's done. So we got one cav unit here, which will probably go south into. We'll just head through. He doesn't mess with movement or anything if we have to move through him. So we'll see about that. Things are kind of shaking out. We got some infantry back here in column. We could probably hustle up here. Yeah, it's starting to take a little shape. All right, let's go back and do an initiative roll. So it's under 10. So, but the Prussians are going to win again. So I think we're just going to move this cav unit straight down here. And this is SC. So who's SC? Oh, Schwerin. Reminds me of Schweringer from the HBO Western. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't Tombstone. I can't remember. It's like South Dakota. I'm in North Dakota. I should know the town in South Dakota, but whatever. All right, so Schwerin. Oh, it's just bugging me what the name of that town is. But you probably screaming at me right now. Dude, it's this. All right, so let's go ahead and move these guys. I like to move the leaders last. I could move them with the stack, but I like to see where everything ends up before I figure out where he's going to be for command and control. Oh, and then I need to activate Gessler. I got to remember to do that. Yeah, so I'm going to activate Gessler as well. I'm wondering if I should be activating Frederick as well. We'll activate Gessler as well. So we're going to activate Gessler with him because we need to get Gessler over with all the cavalry so he's in command next turn. So half. So it'd be 1 to here. 1.5. This is 2.5 because the ridge makes 3, 4. Technically there's a ridge there, so we'll say 5, and then they'll turn to face. These guys are going to go half, 1.5, 2, 3, 4 for this, 5 to here, and they're done. And I'm going to... He's just going to stay on this road. We're using these road networks because they're important. Now Gessler needs to get to where he's within range of all of his commanders, so we can easily see where they are because they're flipped now. So if we move him, he's got 1, 2 out of his 10 movement. Well, he's got 6, so 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, 3, and then 4.5. So if he moves here, he's within plenty of command. I'm going to move him up 1 more. So, because Frederick and those guys are going to get to move too still. We should not. We're doing well because the big thing is to make sure this timer doesn't run out on us, right? And we got, so unless the Austrians totally win like a bazillion rolls and every one of them's over 9, we're taking a little bit of a chance there maybe with not activating him, but it's pretty minute. There's always chances, I guess, in this that you're taking, and that's the fun part. All right, so they're done. So we're just continuing to fan out our cavalry, so we're making another initiative roll. All right, so there we get a 6, so the thing doesn't move, and it's a 5 and a 1, so definitely going to get to do our thing here. So we're going to activate this guy here. This is Bevern, I think is his name. Am I starting to remember these names? Yeah, Bevern. Good old Bevern. He's got his wing out here, and he's under Keith. But we could get directly to him with Frederick, because he'd just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to go to your wing commanders. They're just like a way to extend your line. I tend to lean towards doing that because I don't want to. I'm trying to keep all my stuff together, because I'm sure as I start battling and doing stuff, I'm going to make decisions without thinking, and then guys are going to get out of command. So we should also activate I wonder if Frederick should just activate all this artillery now, because now if we move him out, the artillery, so we'll just activate everybody. We'll activate Bevern. We got Frederick will activate with Muller and Keith, and then we'll activate these guns to start moving in road column and get these guns to start coming down towards the village. So let's do that. So it's not a wing activation. These are all independents which can be activated, and Frederick the Great can just activate them all because they're all around him, right? So he will just activate all those guys, and we got this guy is the command guy activating, so we're good to go. All right, so let's move him first. He needs to get out of the way. They are in. We'll leave them in road, or they're not in road column. They're in march column, but they can follow the road for free on the facing changes, and then I don't know if that'll benefit them a lot or not. Anyway, but anyway, so let's start moving these guys. I'm going to move them one at a time. Just they might still end up stacked, but I want to see if I want to start fanning out or not. Probably not, but we'll see. So 1, 2, 3, and he'd be facing this way. Oops. One, 2, 3. I guess he'll just go there. Changed facing to there. One, 2. I could change facing to there for 3 and then go 4. 1. I think the rules is you want these guys touching though. So let's do him again. So 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5 to change that facing, 4 to go there. So there's something in the rule, and I don't think it's with these guys with the 1 and the 2, but these guys that have A and B and C, they all have to be touching, otherwise the closest guy's in command and everybody else is out of command. So that's in the Lobositz book. So you want to keep your guys together that have so this is one big regiment, right? I don't think that applies to the guys where they just have 1 and 2. I think it has to be an A and a B. But it doesn't hurt to keep them together, and I can check that later because I don't want to get guys out of command for no reason. Oh, let's see. I think those guys will end up staying in column because they need to get hustling. It's going to still take a while to get up there. 1, 2. I think I'm just going to leave these guys stacked. So 1, 2, so they'd be facing this way. 3 to change to there. 4 to go to there. these guys are a bunch of guys stacked together. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to figure out where to move these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can move Bevern up. And we're just going to make sure he's got everybody in command. And he is done. All right, before we move all of our big leaders, we're going to see where all this artillery ends up at. So this is all in road columns. So I'm just going to move them. Then I'll change the facings if I need to. This guy here got messed up. He's not facing north. He's moving down the road earlier, so. All right, so let's get this artillery moving. So some of this stuff only moves like 3. What's that? Pretty crappy artillery limbers. They're moving like less than the infantry limbered up. These guys can move 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll face that way. Move that there. This guy can move 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So they just stay in line. He only had 1 gun. Grab this guy next. 1, 2, 3 is all he can move. And then I think these guys are going to jump in line. So 1, 2. He was there. So 1, 2. Kind of log jams a little bit, but that's fine. The artillery is not super fast in this game, that's for sure. These are 12-pounders. So are these, though. Let's get these guys moving up. 1, oh, it won't matter. 1, 2. They're just going to log jam. Just keep moving these guys. Oh, we got a big 24-pounder. That seems pretty good. So 1, 2. So we're just log jamming here again, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter, I suppose, if I move this guy up here. Then he can get a little closer that way. So that's it with the artillery. And we would want to grab one of these finished markers and place it by the artillery so we know they've all moved. Now I got the leaders. So first I want to look at Keith. Now Keith has guys down here, but Frederick can control them, right? I don't need Keith to control them. Because Frederick's got a lot of command range, and with roads, he can really do a lot. So I think if I just put Keith like here, and he had a 6, I think it was. I should have looked at that. No, he's a 7 command range, so that's pretty good. So he basically can get to Kleist and this guy easily. I think I'm going to whip Frederick down this road here. Right? Because then as long as he can get to Keith, so even if he's like here maybe. Because we have our other wing commander here, Gessler down here. So I just have to be able to reach Gessler, and we already know Gessler can reach everybody, so I think we're good there. Muller, he's just going to hang out with Frederick because he's used basically for combining artillery. Other than that, he's not able to command anybody, I don't think. So we go 1, 2, 3. So if we go over here with Frederick, we know we're in plenty of range for Gessler because we can go 20 hexes. And we're also plenty of range to Keith. So we'll just bring along the artillery dude. I think we're done with the Prussians. I don't think they got anything left to move, do they? They do not. So now we're just going to make the rolls, and the Prussians are going to hope that the Austrians run out of time. Where are we at on time? We're at just about an hour. Well, unless we run into something super complex, let's see if we can get some more Austrian stuff done. So there we're at 11, so that's going to move the track down to a 5, but the Austrians win the initiative anyway, so they're not too worried about it. I think we're going to continue to move up cavalry. So we're going to move these guys, continue to move them up. So we already know that this guy was in range of all of them, and we got Brown up here, so we're good. So I'm just going to also move the leader with him. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I got to do that different. I got to go here first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the sunken road costs 4. And he can flip over. So he's done. And we'll just make the next initiative roll. That's going to move it down the track again, but the Austrians win, so that's not going to hurt much. And I think I want to continue. Well, let's see. What do we want to do with these Grenzers? They're probably not loving the fact that the Prussians now are showing up. That being said, we have the fog thing going on, so basically all of this from this line on is in fog. So they keep that changes some stuff. Let's I think we need to get these Grenzers out of here. If we formation change a Grenzer, from line to march. Boy, the Prussians, they really get the benefit of that movement. So these Grenzers would use 2 of the 4 just to go into facing this way into column. Well, it only cost me 1 to go to basically make an about face to the right, so it cost me 1, and then I think they're going to do that. So these guys, these are independent, so I have to activate a command with them. These guys are not independents. So I could activate this cavalry and then activate these Grenzers. And they could about face and start heading up. I think I want to get them up into this vineyard and start putting them like this kind of. So like they can harass anyone that tries to come along this way. And then as this continues to push back, they're here to reinforce. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to activate Haddock. Okay. And so we check with him and his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's in charge of Brown, so I don't have to worry about a wing leader. Let's go see who Haddock is under, though. Haddock is under Lacey. And that's Lacey right there. So, what? Is that right? How come he's not gold? Like, he's gold. Which really helps stick out a little bit. Oh, because he's I don't know why he's not gold. Anyway. So Lacey's there anyway, so we'd have plenty with Lacey. And then he can activate the independent commands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. I don't know if those guys get to count as halves or not. I don't know. You know what? I think I might stop there because I want to look up the rule as far as those guys. We put in an hour today. I want to make sure that I'm not too freewheeling with activating them. Does the road go through? I think it goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think Brown can still just activate them, but I want to read on that to make sure. So, can Brown activate Grenzers? And we are looking at activating Halleck for the Austrians as they won the initiative roll 9-3. So continue with that. I want to make sure I'm not being too free. I think Brown can activate them when he can activate. If I activate Brown now, and then he could activate them. The other thing is I have Lacey, but he's not on a road. So that kind of hurts. So I got to make sure and figure out this command stuff. And once I got that figured out, I'll come back and spell that out. We might end up having to activate Weed. Because he can go 1, 2, 3, 3.5. And I got to see the other thing, like, so when you are touching friendly units in like your command, it only costs a half command. Not sure if that's the same with independents or if they're just, considered not part of your unit and they cost 1. So I need to look up some details there. But anyway, we've got some good stuff done. Zoom out and take a look at the map and where things are at. Open this up as wide as we can, and this would be the original map right here. Yeah, the Prussians are coming down the road. They're starting to get fanned out. We're getting ready for a big cavalry battle, I think, because I'm going to be shifting these guys this way as much as I can and we got cavalry coming down the road here, and we got more cavalry. I mean, there's a lot of cavalry on this battlefield. And then we got all this cavalry. It's just, we got good stuff going on. We still got these guys that can activate, do some shooting up here at the Prussians. So that's interesting. But anyway, I'll figure this stuff out for the next read, and then we'll go from there. So appreciate you joining me. Hope you're having a good day. Bye.